Hello, yes, we're here with another video, and today it's a very cool one. I'm actually going to be talking about the truces and the resurgence mechanic. We're going to go a little bit more in depth into it compared to the patch notes, because we did talk quite a lot about it in a collaboration video, as well as we've done a little bit on a live stream. So I thought, you know what, this is a really good video. I'd like to hear your thoughts obviously through it, so if you want to just a comment, do it. Alright, so with all of that, let's get into today's video. Hello, yes, smash the like, comment and subscribe for more daily videos with me, MrSneakyy, and we're here in the main game, and we are looking at obviously the patch. So what we are talking about, if you guys are wondering, is within the new areas of the new patch notes, they have added, as you can see, in the not in the even richer area, it's in a more accessible map, the Truce Zone, which we're going to talk about today. And when we look further down, we have also got the Resurgence feature adjustments within part 5. So both of these two features are really good, and basically this is the Call of Dragons dev team fully addressing the drama. And what we're talking about the drama, we're talking about just basically the betrayal meta that's been going around on this game, where basically different alliances on different teams might basically say, you know what, we don't feel like losing anymore, and they just jump ship and then join the other team. And basically what they can do is allow, for example, if we go out into the map here, we are going to be able to showcase it. You can jump, for example, and resurge from, for example, this zone 1 here all the way, for example, into this zone 1 if you wanted to, and join your new friend in combat. And then, for example, if you was V-Hub, you can just eviscerate and just kill VM0, just for an example, right? So this was to stop this backstabbing and pushing, and the way they've been able to do this is really, really clever, right? They've added these two features as well as one other feature in the patch notes that was the mysterious spires. So you've got part 1, part 2, part 3 all together, bang, the triangle Illuminati, ooh, all coming together, and we've got it, right? We actually have a really cool setup. So let's explain why I think this is a really good thing. We're going to go through, honestly, the pros and the cons in this video. So it is up to you if you want to put more comments below what you think about it. But this is going to be obviously my opinion on the entire area, right? So what is this? So we can imagine if we boot up our amazing companion here, the Live Draw app, what we can basically talk about is this new zone. So you can imagine in the game Call of Dragons now, they might be making like a massive area like this that you can just be in, right? And this is going to be a zone that you, even though it's covering myself, you know, it's going to allow you to just be safe, right? So, you know, it could be just a new bordering territory like this, you know, massive territory, and this is the Truce Zone, right? And the Truce Zone is really cool because when you're in this Truce Zone, what it's basically allowing you to do as the player is, if you are located, for example, here on this map, and you can see, you know, things are not going really well, the enemy are coming in here and they're coming to kill you, and you've got nowhere to run, guess what? You can actually retreat and go into this Truce Zone. And this Truce Zone, we don't know what it fully entails yet, but we can imagine it's going to be very similar to an area maybe where it is divided up. And in this, there might be resource nodes, right? So you could potentially farm in here. We don't know any of this, obviously, until we bring out more details. But while you're in here, the benefit of being in this is you don't get any PvP. So you cannot get killed, you cannot get attacked or anything like that. So it's a really good way of stopping a backstab from happening by allowing the Alliance to run away, which is really good. It also helps those alliances that are in, for example, a early war in this stage 1. If they really wanted to, they can go and retreat into the Truce Zone, and they can maybe come back and maybe think on a new strategy, maybe a new drop point in this zone, and they can try it again, right? So it's a really cool mechanic that allows actually new different strategies to employ in that regards. What it also kind of promotes, and this is now going into kind of one of the bad points, and I don't think there's only 2 really bad points, and these are kind of minor points in my opinion, and that's why when we were talking about it, I think the pros and what it potentially brings to the game of Call of Dragons outweighs these cons, right? So if we draw this Truce Zone again on the map, just for an example, right, and we've got this nice crazy island here, and what could happen is basically two scenarios, and this is where we don't know, you know, what could happen. I think the first scenario, I think a lot of players will enjoy. What could happen is, obviously this is the Truce Zone where no PvP combat can occur, so what you would now start to see is more bots and more farmers basically putting their farm accounts in here. So this is going to be very, very, very crowded now because of all the different players that are inside here basically farming a ton of resources. And this can obviously be good for maybe a normal player that has just one farm account, because it would allow the farmer to then obviously bring this account in, send him his resources, and then obviously he can teleport back into the Truce Zone. So that's a really nice little exchange on that. But I am worried that it might promote so much botting that if you are a player in this PvP scenario and you do need to retreat to the Truce Zone to actually recuperate, it's going to be actually challenging to get these resources. So it's going to be intriguing to see what will occur. Another thing that we were talking about is potentially the PvP element. So if you wanted to, and this is again all determining on how the resources and how the truce system works. We don't know if you're going to have a cooldown of 24 hours or 12 hours between teleporting between the main area and the Truce Zone. And what this means is you can theory craft, and this is what this con basically is theory crafting that your main account is sitting in the Truce Zone, and then you actually teleport into the PvP zone when you are ready to fight, and then obviously it's going to make you just safe, because then if you are winning the PvP zone, what you can then do is actually come back into the Truce Zone, quickly farm up safely, heal up without having to worry, and then go back into maybe deeper territory now and fight even harder, right? So it is going to be one of those interesting mechanics, I think, the Truce Zone in its whole, right? But that is not all of today's story, right? This is only half or maybe a third of the part of the puzzle, because we now get the Resurgence mechanic now. So the Resurgence mechanic is really cool because now it still kind of allows, I would say, that political kind of shadiness that happens, that's in all 4X city building games, and that is spying, right? So potentially you could spy your opponents and drop into, for example, Scalera here, and fight them in early stages, because the ceasefire is only 3 days, as I'm aware of, unless they extend it. But that ceasefire is going to allow you to basically have 3 days of preparation, go to war for basically another 3 days, and if you've won or lost, guess what? You can either choose to resurge from this zone where you might have lost in Scalera, and you can go to where you originally planned to go to with your allies, which is a very interesting strategy, because then after 7 days you cannot resurge. So this is another way to patch up the ability from people from joining and hopping alliances and backstabbing from a safe haven of another alliance. So you can see that with the Truce and this Resurgence already, it's already coming together, and they are trying to fix and address that betrayal meta of alliances in the Call of Dragons seasons. But then, which I honestly think is the third part of the puzzle, and I didn't really think of it until the more I was reading and looking into the patch notes, is those mysterious spires. Because as you can see, and if we draw it for a example right here, you've got Camelid, right? So if we just draw Camelid out for you guys right now as a example, this is basically the map, right? And what they are saying, they are changing the map and the terrain for this area of the whole of the Season 2 map. So what we could expect to see is actually a more larger map, right? So now, because we've got a larger map in this zone, what it actually allows us is to put that mysterious spire somewhere. So we could put the mysterious spire more closer to where these enemy passes might be located. If we draw it in red, it'd be a little bit better, right? So if the passes were located on these two areas, obviously the enemy would still have protection from you invading through the pass, so you can't kill them and push them back, but it would allow you as the player to use a mysterious spire and go into this zone, right? Which is a really, really interesting dynamic, because I honestly think that is the third piece of the puzzle that's missing out, because with that, it's actually going to promote and allow more fighting and PvP potential to happen in the game. And it will even, obviously, create new strategic plans, which we did mention in our Ultimate Strategy Guide with some of the artifacts that you could be maxing out currently in the game, right? So that's basically today's video. I think you guys can understand where I'm coming from here. I do enjoy the patch as a whole, and as you guys know, I did rate it around like a 7.5 out of 10. It could have been better, as you guys know, but we will see how good it is in the game, and once we see it in game, we might increase the rating and it might be better than we actually expect, right? But as you can see, the Call of Dragons devs have addressed the betrayal meta by giving you a new safe haven, stopping this stupid teleport system, and as well, in my eyes, promoting a way that allows fair invasion and fighting for a alliance to go in and attack another alliance without obviously pushing them and causing them to go back into a zone, which they don't want to do until obviously it comes to the end of the season when you're in zone 5 and you are having the ability to take those passes. So that's today's videos, guys. I hope you've enjoyed it. It is me, MrSneakyy. We're coming to the end of the season. We are trying to get our tech done, as you can see, slowly but surely through there, and we are going to keep clicking along and doing some more buildings, as you can imagine, to get into level 25, while we are doing all of that Ultimate Strategy Guide tips and tricks. If you've not checked it out, you should check it out. It was on the yesterday's video upload. So if you've enjoyed today's video, smash like, comment, and subscribe. And I'd love to honestly hear your thoughts in the comment section. Do you agree with me? Do you like the way I am approaching, the way they are talking about these 3 different points? Is this something you are interested in? If it is, again, I can do more stuff like this in the future. So until the next video, though, stay safe, stay sneaky, guys, and peace out.